Good morning, Olive, Arlo, and Frank. Grandpa coming to you from the living room in Jack's Beach. Today we're going to continue in the book of Exodus. In chapter 20 we got the 10 Commandments, and now the chapters that we're in, God is breaking down exactly how to follow these 10 Commandments. So there's a thou shalt not bear false witness. And it's going to talk about that a little more and go into other things. So let's dive right in. You must not give a false report. So what does that mean? Groundless report. So you're just making stuff up. Don't do it. Do not make common cause with the wicked to be a malicious witness. So it's saying don't be part of a scheme. And this could be civil law, it could be criminal law. I mean, you could either be doing this to rip somebody off or doing this to save one of your friends. Like, oh no, he didn't do it. I was with him. To be a malicious witness. You must not follow a crowd in doing evil things. In a lawsuit, you must not offer testimony that agrees with a crowd so as to pervert justice. And you must not show partiality to a poor man in his lawsuit. This is very, very interesting and very important. So it's saying be 100% fair. Don't be an egalitarian, where we have to have an equal opportunity for everything, for everybody. Or an equal outcome, I should say. We do want an equal opportunity for everybody. Everybody should start where they are and be able to get as far as they possibly can without somebody holding them back. But just like if it's a rich guy, you don't agree with him just because he's a rich and powerful guy. You should tell the truth. If you're if there's a lawsuit and you're called to testify, you should just tell the truth. No matter who the person is, if they're powerful, if you're afraid of them, you still are supposed to tell the truth. And likewise, if somebody's poor, you don't say, oh yeah, he was right and the other person was wrong, if that's not true, just because the guy's poor. If you encounter your enemy's ox or donkey wandering off, you must by all means return it to him. So this isn't your neighbor's donkey, your friend's donkey. This is your enemy's donkey, somebody you hate. Still, right is right. If you see the donkey of someone who hates you falling under its load, you must not ignore him, but be sure to help him with it. You must not turn away justice for your poor people in their lawsuits. Keep your distance from a false charge. Do not kill the innocent and the righteous, for I will not justify the wicked. Once again, you don't side with the rich and you don't side with the poor. But you also don't side with the rich to deny justice to the poor. You must not accept a bribe, for a bribe blinds those who see and subverts the words of the righteous. And a bribe is you pay somebody for an outcome. You, I don't know, you go to DMV and you don't have a driver's license, and you go to the clerk like, oh, I'll give you $100 if you tell me how I can get my driver's license reinstituted. But you don't mean tell me how to do it legally. You mean I'll give you $100 and you do it. That will be illegal. When I was a cop, there were always possibilities that people would bribe me. When I worked at the IRS, there were a couple times when I was pretty sure that the person wanted to bribe me, but I couldn't. You don't want to egg the person on too much, because that's entrapment. So you just keep going like, what do you mean? What do you mean do something for me? But, I never had to have somebody arrested for that. When I was a cop, I don't remember any time that anybody tried to bribe me. You must not oppress a resident foreigner, since you know the life of a foreigner, for you were foreigners in the land of Egypt. And I'm sorry about my voice, but it's early in the morning and it's not getting better over the years. So once again, the mixed multitude that left Egypt with the children of Israel are there, and it would be easy for the children of Israel to go, well, hey, we're the bosses and you people are nothing. But you're not supposed to do that. And we have people called resident aliens in the United States. They're not citizens of the United States, and some of them can become citizens of the United States. But just because they're resident aliens, like you wouldn't oppress them. You wouldn't, like we have illegal aliens in the United States. Some people want them to stay and some people want them to leave. But if, let's just say that the government right now wants them to stay, but let's just say that a government comes into power that wants them to leave. Well, if you find one of these people, and your grandmother and I had a lady from Brazil who cleaned for us, and she was an illegal alien. She told us. Now, if the government started to actively seek out people like her, to deport them, to send them back to Brazil in her case, and I went to her and said, look, I want you to work for me for $2 an hour cleaning my house, and if not, I'm gonna turn you in. Well, that would be oppressing that person. That would be taking advantage of them. So you wouldn't do that. Let's talk about the Sabbaths and the feasts. For 6 years you are to sow your land and gather in its produce. But in the 7th year you must let it lie fallow and leave it alone, so that the poor of your people may eat, and what they leave any animal in the field may eat. You must do likewise with your vineyard and your olive grove. For 6 days you are to do your work, but on the 7th day you must cease, in order that your ox and your donkey may rest, and that your female servant's son, and the resident foreigner may refresh themselves. So 6 and 1, 6 of work, 1 of rest. Even in the agriculture, 6 years you plant the field, and then 7th year you let it lie fallow. That just means that whatever's there is there. You don't plant anything and you don't harvest anything. Pay attention to do everything I have told you, and do not even mention the names of other gods. Do not let them be heard on your lips. 3 times in the year you must make a pilgrim feast to me. You are to observe the Feast of Unleavened Bread 7 days. And before I get into these, they're saying you're going to have a pilgrim feast. It'll eventually be in Jerusalem. Now they're going to be done out in the desert for the next, whatever it is, 39, 40 years. You are to observe the Feast of Unleavened Bread 7 days. You must eat bread made without yeast, as I commanded you, at the appointed time of the month of Abib. For at that time you came out of Egypt. No one may appear before me empty-handed. So that's actually associated with Passover, the Feast of Unleavened Bread. You are to observe the Feast of Harvest, the first fruits of your labors that you have sown in the field, and the Feast of Ingathering at the end of the year, when you have gathered in your harvest out of the field. At 3 times in the year, all your males will appear before the sovereign Lord. It's easy to do out there in the desert. They're all together. But once they get into the land of Israel, then you were supposed to 3 times a year go to Jerusalem. Now, Jesus did that. There's several times in the Bible where you see him going for one of the feasts. You must not offer the blood of my sacrifice with bread containing yeast, the fat of the festal sacrifice must not remain until morning. The first of the first fruits of your soil you must bring to the house of the Lord your God. So every time you sacrifice an animal and you have the sacrificial meal, because you don't just waste these animals, it has to be with unleavened bread, and you have to take the fat of the inside. It's like the organs and stuff like that, and they burn them outside of Jerusalem eventually, but outside of the camp. And then you always bring your first fruits. You must not cook a young goat in its mother's milk. As much as you like goat milk stew, don't do it. Now let's talk about the angel of the presence. I am going to send an angel before you to protect you as you journey, and to bring you into the place that I have prepared. Take heed because of him and obey his voice. Do not rebel against him, for he will not pardon your transgressions for my name. For my name is in him. But if you diligently obey him and do all that I command, then I will be an enemy to your enemies, and I will be an adversary to your adversaries. For my angel will go before you and bring you to the Amorites, the Hittites, the Perizzites, the Canaanites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites, and I will destroy them completely. So some people think that this is Jesus, and some people think that it's the Archangel Michael. Let's see. Messenger angel. This angel is to be treated with the same fear and respect as Yahweh. It doesn't imply a being distinct from God, for it is in the ancient world, the line of demarcation between the sender and the sent is liable easily to be blurred. Yeah, so this is, I think it's Jesus, but you must not bow down to their gods. You must not serve them or do according to their practices. Instead, you must completely overthrow them and smash their standing stones to pieces. So these are, standing stones are monuments and altars to these gods. You must serve the Lord your God, and he will bless your bread and your water, and will remove sickness from your midst. No woman will miscarry her young or be barren in your land. I will fulfill the number of your days. And we're going to see that time after time after time, starting in chapter 32, which we'll be to pretty soon, they're going to mess up. They're not going to allow this to happen. This has never happened, where none of them miscarry or anything like that, because they don't obey. They don't hold up their end of the bargain. I will send my terror before you, and I will alarm all the people whom you encounter. So let's see, terror, panic or dread. So yeah, it's this vibe that's going to go through the people of, oh no, oh no. And will alarm all the people whom you encounter. I will make all your enemies turn their backs to you. I will send hornets before you that will drive out the Hivite, the Canaanite, and the Hittite before you. I will not drive them out before you in 1 year, lest the land become desolate and the wild animals multiply against you. So he's saying, you're going to go there, you're going to have to live amongst them, and I'm going to get rid of them, but I'm going to not do it right away, because then you'd have to get the whole country together. But like I said, they're going to mess up time and time again. So little by little, I will drive them out before you until you become fruitful and inherit the land. I will set your boundaries from the Red Sea to the Sea of the Philistines, and from the desert to the river. And this is something that today they talk about, from the river to the sea. The Palestinians, they want to drive out the Israelites, the Jewish people. They want to drive them out from the river to the sea. And this is them. That's the land he's going to give them. For I will deliver the inhabitants of the land into your hand, and you will drive them out before you. You must make, and this is without getting political, there's a war going over in Israel right now. And there's quite often a war going on over there between the Jewish people and the Arabs. We don't need to be involved in it, because God promised them that He's going to protect them. So we spend a lot of money, and I'm in favor of the Jewish state. I'm in favor of Israel. I think they should be there. I don't want to see them driven into the ocean or anything like that. I don't agree with the Palestinian people. But we also shouldn't be sending any arms over there because they have God's promise. And if you believe that God's speaking the truth, then you have to back that up in your life. You have to say, yeah, well, you don't need us because you have this promise. It's right here. Exodus chapter 23. You must make no covenant with them or with their gods. They must not live in your land, lest they make you sin against me. For if you serve their gods, I will surely be a snare to you. So, big difference here between the resident alien who lives with you, who or these are people that came out of Egypt with them. They're all Gentiles or mixed. Sometimes they would, a Jewish person and non-Jewish person have a child. And so they're mixed. The mixed multitude, sometimes they're called. And they should not be oppressed. They should be treated fairly. But the inhabitants of this land are evil, and we'll see what they do when they get there. they sacrifice their babies to this god named Molech, and they do all kinds of horrible things. Anyway, until next time, peace out.